Hey there, everyone. Sean Peers, President and CEO of Dental Peers, bringing you another edition of our popular Meet Our Partners series. And in this case, it was actually a popular edition. You might recall it's not all that long ago that we brought Chris Nicholson and Kevin Miller from Henry Schein to your computer screens to talk about their Edge Endo line of products and put together a great webinar that I hope everyone has had the chance to enjoy. And now today we're going to talk about another product line that we have within the Henry Schein brands. Again, when you've got the guy that's oversees the Henry Schein Canadian sales managing department for their various branded products in Chris, and you've got Kevin, who's available to be a great support with respect to how him and his team can step to the plate and help Chris and his group, you got to get into some of the products. So today we're going to switch gears and we're going to be talking about the world of clear aligners. And in particular, Henry Schein's brand for that is Reveal aligners. So guys, welcome back to Meet Our Partners. And are we ready to talk about some aligners today?
Yeah, no, thanks, Sean. Thanks for having us back again. I'm glad we could make a second appearance, and yeah, would love to. It's a pretty hot topic in the dental industry as a whole. And if it's okay with you, I'm just going to share my screen. I'm a bit of a visual guy, and I got some images that hopefully your members will be able to see and relate to. So if you're okay with that, I'm just going to share my screen, and then we can jump right in.
I'm good with letting you drive this bus, Kevin. Can we trust him?
I think so. You know what? He's basically been the lead on this product since it came to market. So, you know what? I think there's no one better to hear from than Chris.
All right. That sounds good. That's good enough for me. Then you got Kevin's endorsement. Chris, take it away.
Perfect. So, can you guys see the screen? Okay, there.
Looking good on my end.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
me too.
So I may not have told you guys before we started this, but there's going to be some questions that both of you are going to have to answer. So I hope I'm not putting you on the spot too much. But before I jump in, Sean, to the product itself, I like to take a bit of a step back and talk about the aligner industry. It's been all over the news the last couple of years. Very competitive space, not just on the clinical side, but with the direct-to-consumer markets that are out there today. So I like to take a little bit of a step back and go over why Henry Schein decided to get into this space, which will hopefully make a clearer picture, a more well-rounded picture for your members. So the first statistic that I like to show anybody when I'm talking about Reveal is this one. So there's 2 million unique searches every single month for clear aligners in North America. Okay, so that's unique searches for any variation of clear braces, invisible braces, clear aligners. Again, those buzzwords that Google and the analytics there would be following. So this to me is a fairly large number, a fairly big statistic. And the question I always ask everybody is, why do you think that is? What do you think has changed? Clear aligners have been around for 20 years. But why over the last 3-4 years do you think the demand in the market has gone up so exponentially?
Is this a question we're expected to answer now?
This is the first part of the quiz to see if you're paying attention.
I didn't know it was going to be a hard question, Chris. Come on, I thought these were going to be easy. Why? I
How about I give you a hint? How about I give you a bit of a hint? Would that work for you?
Yeah, give me a hint.
So have you seen advertisements like this?
Yeah.
Competition.
Yeah. Bringing awareness.
Yeah. So what do either one of you guys, if you want to, again, there's the direct-to-consumer model that has gained a lot of traction over the last few years. You see it on the news all the time. You see their advertisements, TV, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything else, social media. I see them every day because it's mostly what I talk about is clear aligners, and my phone listens to me, and every ad I get is for this. But what do you guys know about the direct-to-consumer model as a whole and kind of how that works?
Kevin, am I cheating?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin? It's quite all right. You know what? I would say it's exactly as you said, Chris. It's direct to consumer, so it's direct marketing campaigns. Send the stuff in a box to the recipient in their home. they're taking a set of impressions on their own, with guidance from a set of directions, and then firing it back to the parent organization, whomever that may be, where they're then producing and setting up a treatment plan and basically producing clear aligners for them.
Yeah,
that's been my take on it, anyways.
And I mean, I take it as just another step in a world that is looking more and more for convenience. I mean, we increasingly, and the pandemic has certainly accelerated that. People, when they want to do their shopping, they're just as happy going to Amazon, if not happier, as opposed to actually going to the malls. More and more of us, as a result of the pandemic, are getting our groceries delivered to us. This is just another way of being able to do something, and they found a way to reach out and appeal to that sense of and desire for convenience.
Yeah, no, I think you guys, you did pretty good there. You both passed the first quiz of today, so you're off to a good start. But that's exactly it, right? These companies have, there's the clinical side, right? And then there's the digital marketing side. That's kind of the two buckets I look at. Like Kevin said, on the clinical side, the patient takes their own impression. They send it in. Did they take a good impression, right? They're not, looking at that and saying, is this good? Is this not? They're taking an impression and making aligners based on that. Does that patient have some dental concerns, other concerns before taking that impression? Do they have some perio issues? You shouldn't start moving teeth around if that patient has some perio problems that they should look at first. So those are the things and the risks associated with some of this direct-to-consumer models. But their marketing, their digital content, in my opinion, not just in the dental industry, but across industries is almost second to none. The influencers they have on social media, the advertisement they do, they make it look, Sean, to your point, so simple, so convenient. And at the end of the day, they have these, perfectly straight smiles. And this is what you're going to get. And from the patient's point of view, this is something that when they see that, they don't know some of those inherited risks because those aren't making their way onto some of those social media advertisements. So it's really been a hot button. I know in the whole dental industry with the dental professionals of, how are they doing this? Are they allowed to? There's lots of lawsuits down in the US about whether it's legal or not. And I'm not going to go into all those details, but at the end of the day, the reason I wanted to bring this up was one of the main reasons why Henry Schein wanted to get into this space. And yes, it's a big market. I showed you the 2 million Google searches every month. So it's definitely a market we want to be in, but we really want to try to help our offices, our members, groups that we work with, be able to keep those cases in-house. Because there's more and more patients every day going to this direct-to-consumer model. And quite frankly, they need to be in our practices, our collective practices, getting that treatment done by a dental professional. So I like to start there just to kind of paint a bit of a picture of why we did this, not so much, hey, we have a new aligner that's out on the market and, it's got some different features. So I hope that made sense anyways. So I'm not going to go through all of this today, Sean, just wanted to give a bit of a teaser for your members, but the product itself is built on 4 main components. And the one we're going to talk about today specifically is the clarity of the product. So it's in the name when you hear clear aligner, right? The assumption is the product is going to be next to invisible, or you're never going to notice that somebody's wearing it. So here's a side-by-side image, okay, of an option here on the left, and then our product here on the right. And again, I'm not sure, Sean, how well this is coming through on your screen, but if you can notice some of those striations in the image on the left there, and that's because the majority of clear aligners today, after they take your impression or your scan, they make 3D printed models, and then they do a suck down method on top of those 3D printed molds. So it's capturing some of those striations from the printing, which makes the product a little bit cloudy, let's just say that. Where with our product, we don't use 3D printed molds, which allows us to eliminate that and have a much more aesthetic product. And at the end of the day, again, going back to what I said, when you're thinking clear aligners, the patient's really looking for that because they don't want brackets. They don't want, individuals to know that they're wearing it. I read an article just last week that I think was one of the main players in this market. They had their investors notes or whatever, and their demand has gone up even more. And you think of Zoom now, we're all doing these virtual meetings, and your smiles on the camera so frequently, the demand has even gone up because everybody's spending so much time in front of a video camera like we're doing today, right? So the clearer the product, the better. And the aesthetics is one thing, and that's important to the patient. But the point from my perspective that's really important here is patient compliance. At the end of the day, clear aligners you can take out of your mouth whenever you want. You can't do that with traditional brackets without, putting yourself into some pain. And it's a prescription. So you need to wear these 22 hours a day. So if you have a product that starts to discolor at some point of the treatment, if you're a patient, and when we get back to going to events or you're on a couple-hour webinar like we all have been over the last couple months or year, if you had something where it doesn't look that good, your chances are lower. You're going to keep that in your mouth for the duration of the time that you need to. So that's really the main point on the clarity side. Yes, the aesthetics are definitely important, but what we found is it really helps with the patient's compliance at the end of the day. Okay. Any questions from either of you guys on that, or is this all making clear as mud?
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense from my perspective, and that certainly looks like quite the distinction between those two sets of aligners there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just going to show a couple more images, guys. And again, some of the cases we've been able to treat. Again, these are all, cases that have been treated with Reveal. Again, none of these, and again, we don't have time to go into all the weeds of all the different, differentiated features that we have, but wanted to show some of the, early results that we've had in North America with this product. And also the last image here that I'm going to show you guys after this one is actually a colleague of mine. So this is a good friend of mine. He's from California. He's actually one of our sales reps in just outside of Oakland, I believe. And his name is also Chris. And I apologize to your members. I hope I don't scare anybody out of the group, but I'm going to get kind of close to my camera right now. So aside from us having the same name and having the same job, we both have the same space between our centrals. So I hopefully didn't scare off any of your members there, but I've always liked my diastema. It's part of who I am, so I've never wanted to change it. Chris, on the other hand, wanted to see what Reveal could do for him. And this was him after 2 months. So that's the results he had already got. Closed up some of that spacing there. And the one thing you may not be able to notice here, Sean and Kevin, is he's actually wearing his aligners in that second photo as well.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Oh.
and the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was a partnership that we just launched at the end of last year with Oral-B. So as we talked about going back to the aligner market, lots of competition, direct-to-consumer models coming out, every day. There's a lot of competition in this space, not just on the supplier side like us, but in the clinical side as well. Lots of dentists offer clear aligners. You have the orthodontist who's offering clear aligners. And then you have your direct-to-consumer models that are now offering clear aligners. So what we wanted to do was, for our practices, give them a little bit of some added perceived value. There's the cost of treatment, and again, those are all fairly relative, depending on what is suitable in your area, and there's lots of variance with that across the country. But in addition to our treatment, so if a patient was to come into one of your practices, Sean, within your organization, they were using Reveal, the patient, I'll use myself as an example. I say, yep, I want to move forward with this. You're going to get your aligners. You're going to get, your retainers, the other stuff that come along with the clear aligner treatment. And Henry Schein will send a free IO8 power brush to your member for that specific case, which then they can give to the patient as kind of a free gift on top of the aligner therapy there to help with that full oral health conversation. So our aligners new to Canada, Oral-B just launched their IO8 Power Brush, which is still fairly new, and there's been lots of advertising on that. So we wanted to kind of blend these two products together to offer our practices a unique advantage in this space as well.
Well, that's pretty cool. So they get the aligners and a fancy new toothbrush that I mean, I don't know if I have that particular model because mine's a couple of years old now, but I definitely have an Oral-B electric where I can, you know, sort of get in front of the camera on the,
yeah,
so that the teeth are getting brushed properly. So all the cool toys, right?
Yeah, it's funny that we're doing this today. My IO8, which is the brush that we're bundling in, it actually just came in the mail today, and I just tried it this morning for the first time, and I had their older version as well, and this one's quite cool. It's pretty unique technology. So we're really excited to launch this. We launched at the end of last year after the pandemic started to subside a little bit, and we wanted to kind of relaunch this to the Canadian market. I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, but our official launch for Reveal was at the PDC last year, and obviously a lot has changed since March of last year. So we did a formal relaunch in the second half of the year. So I'm going to stop talking. You guys have done well on the questions, and I'll stop sharing. And that's a very high level, quick summary. I had to take a bunch of slides out or we'd be here all night, but I hope that helped your members just understand that there's, you know, some other good alternatives in the aligner space. And for any of your members who aren't offering clear aligners today, this could be a great product for them. It's very simple to implement. It's very good to start getting your feet wet, so to speak, with aligners. And for any of your offices that are already offering it, there is some cost savings and some different features as well that we can go over with them individually.
Well, that's all some really exciting stuff. And I would certainly encourage any of our members that, you know, if you aren't in the aligner space and you're thinking that maybe this is a good way to start getting yourself moving in that direction, reach out to Kevin or his team, or if you're not in Ottawa, to your local Henry Schein reps that you work with. They may be able to answer some of your questions. If there's some things that are a bit more specific, they can connect you with Chris or a member of his team, and they can help out with some further information. I know I've spoken to different dentists in the United States that are into the clear aligner space already, and they'll use a couple of different ones. Like maybe they started off with using one particular brand, but and still use that particular brand, but now all of a sudden they found that for whatever reason they like to work with Reveal as well as another option, and in some cases they found, you know, it really worked better on some patients than they thought the other option might. So some people might consider that as well, even if you're already in the aligner space.
Yeah, we see a lot of that for sure, Sean. Very, very good point.
Yeah. So guys, thanks again for coming back. I don't know if if popular demand has to bring you back a third time around, guys. Are you available?
Of course.
Yeah, well, I may have to add some more products to my portfolio to keep going through this, but I'll find something in my bag of goods that I can talk about for sure.
Absolutely, and you'll have to renegotiate your public appearance fee contract, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining us again. And members of Dental Peers, thanks for going through with another round with some great information from our friends at Henry Schein. And we look forward to bringing our next mystery guest to a follow-up opportunity where we get a chance to meet our partners. So thanks, guys, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks very much, Sean.